Inside this box is a very, very special knife. We're going to take a look at it from above. It's the first time we've had one of the KUNWU knives on the channel, and it's the first time I've had a knife in PM60 steel. So a couple of firsts. So let's turn us around and look at it from above. So guys, like I said in the intro, this is a first and a couple of firsts. So this is the first of the KUNWU knives I've had come in, and I say, these guys are really getting it right. This is such a well-made knife. And it is the first knife that I've had come in a steel that now I'm really curious about, which is PM60. And I got to tell you, absolutely impressed. So let's talk about the steel first, and then we'll get into it. So PM60 is a high-speed tool steel that is a unique, it's got a pretty unique chemical construction. It's got a lot of tungsten, it's got a lot of chromium, it's got some molybdenum, a good bit of carbon. It is a very resilient steel so far. I have done a lot of cutting with this, and it is still just screaming sharp. So it held up well. So with that aside, we'll talk about PM60 some other time because I'm really interested in getting other knives in it. But this is an incredibly good design. This thing is not only just an incredible design, it's beautiful. Look at the finish on this. So let's get some specs out of the way because this is the final review. You may see this around for a while for some other videos, but you're looking at a 7.6 overall length, 7.6 inch overall length. It's a 3.35 inch blade. It is done with a crossbar lock and thumb studs only. But I mean, the crossbar lock on this is so good. It's done in titanium and PM60 steel, and it's got a unique pocket clip that we're going to talk about in a minute. You're also looking at a total weight of 4.52 ounces. So, you know, it's not super heavy. And it is a really nice knife. It's done in a sheep's foot configuration, and it's got a really nice pocket clip. We're going to talk about all those things. Let's get a couple knives out for size comparison first, and we'll do that. First knife is the Spyderco PM2. I think we're going to start sticking with the same three knives for size comparison. That way everybody knows. This is a well-known knife. You can see pretty similar in size. Let's move on to the next knife. The Benchmade 940. You can see a good bit bigger than a 940, which is not a huge knife, but it's a full-size EDC. And then your final knife, as always, is the Chris Reeves Sebenza Large 21. You can see just about identical tip to tail. So there you go. Let's get this out of the way and start talking about this knife because I'm really impressed with this so far. So like I said, the first of the KUNWU knives I've seen, and I got to say their craftsmanship is so good. So this is a diamond pattern titanium handle. Like I said, PM60 steel in a sheep's foot configuration. The blade grind on this is really good. It has held up. I did a lot of cutting with this, and the finish has held up really well, as did the edge that Lacey over at EDC and Lace did. Go check out her strop compounds. Hit her up on Instagram. Her strop compound is one of the best I've ever used. So like I said, thumb stud actuators on this, the thumb studs on it, not only are they gorgeous, they are just so functional. The crossbar lock on this is done really well. I like the buttons on it. They are not your typical just almost like thumb stud buttons that you see on most knives. Calling you out, Benchmade, step up your game. There are so many companies that are doing this crossbar access style lock better than the originators of it. The action on it, super smooth. The spring tension on the lock is just about perfect. You can thumb flip it. I will say, I have a harder time reverse flicking it on this one. I think that is more a shape of the knife. Like I said, finish on this is great. You do have steel liners on this, full steel liners on this, which could add to the weight being a 6 ounce? I can't remember, weight on that. But it doesn't feel heavy. It's just nicely balanced in and out of pocket. This pocket clip is just about perfect. But I got to show you something because this pocket clip, because it shares the same groove pattern. So I'm gonna put this one back on. I just wanted to show you really cool modularity. Swapped it back out because I just find this to be so much more attractive, and it doesn't pop. What happens is that pocket clip pops back and forth across the diamond tread on this. So superb shape on this blade. It is just an incredible knife to cut with. Jimping on this, just about perfect. It is not super deep or super aggressive, but it is absolutely functional. It allows you to get up on that. The fact it is a sheep's foot means that you've got all that cutting capability. You can get way up on it and have control of that at the tip. You've got cutting all the way to the tip of the blade. The hardware on it is beautiful. Look at that pivot. That pivot is gorgeous on both sides, and then just everything about it. Now, this has gotten a lot of pocket time for the short amount of time that it's been here. And I'm really impressed with how well the edge has held up. Now, you've got a couple little spots on it that probably need touched up. I did get into something up here at the very tip, and there's a little spot here that probably needs touched up. So we're going to see. I'm curious how it is to try and touch up and sharpen. I want to see how it strops up. I want to see how it sharpens before it goes back to its owner. But yeah, pretty impressed with everything about this knife. So it's just so smooth. And I do know that axis locks are historically smooth, but the problem with a lot of the axis locks on the market, including my Benchmade, is when you get them free like that, there's a good bit of blade play in that. And this is just locked up like a bank vault because it does run on bearings as opposed to washers. I think that's the big thing that I'm noticing is I don't like axis locks that are running on washers. I think that the actual bearings just prevent that little bit of blade play that you get in it. So yeah, not only is it just cuts great, but it's a beautiful, beautiful knife. And I wanted to mention that they did not give you a lanyard hole, which, you know, some people are going to get upset, but you could always do a lanyard around that. And then the fact is it could look aggressive to some people. Not at all. Super smooth and softened, but it is tactile and it doesn't feel slippery. Just a beautiful knife all around. I'm really impressed with this. I hope to get to see some more of the KUNWU knives. Now, like I did say, there's a couple little negative things about this, and I'll tell you about them right after you guys hear from this video sponsor. Guys, did you know that Coffee Brand Coffee has more than just awesome on-demand roasted coffees and flavored coffees? They also have tea, cocoa, cold brew bags, decaf, and they have premium candies that will make your family go nuts. So check them out with the link down below to save 10% on some of the best coffee you're going to find. So just a couple little small things. I'll tell you, you got to be careful when you do swap out the pocket clip on this. The first time I ever did it, that's actually what I got into. I just bumped into it. There is a shorter screw for this. So this screw will actually come through and make it all the way through, and you can actually bump the blade into it. So that is not necessarily a negative, but it doesn't have anything in the instructions to tell you that you need to swap that screw out. Nothing that I saw that was in the box. Next thing, the thumb stud for me, for when I get ready to do, if I try to do reverse flick, it's kind of tight. And what happens is I bump up against the lock bar. I get my finger here and it bumps up against my finger, and then I can't reverse flick it as well. You can reverse flick it. I just have to get out of my own way. On this side, not at all a problem. The lack of a dedicated lanyard post could pose a problem for some people, because you can see that is kind of close. If you're using a large lanyard post, or a large lanyard material, you may cut your lanyard, especially if you put like an expensive bead on it. That might be something off-putting to people. And then the only real issue I have with anything about the knife overall, as far as like a real negative on the actual construction, this plunge comes out and you can see you've already got a smile. That heel is already ramped up, and this is a pretty new knife. Lacey sharpened this, and you can see that that's gonna recurve over time. It's definitely going to recurve over time. And that's something I just kind of wish that maybe the plunge had come out or been rounded out a little further. It didn't have to go out far, maybe to about here. But all in all, not only is it gorgeous, super good, and I'm really impressed with the steel so far. I hope I can get to see some more knives in that steel, but I'm pretty impressed with it. So with that being said, guys, let's turn this around, do some final thoughts, and send you out about your day. Yeah, guys, I am absolutely in love with this knife. It hits so many of the things I love about knives. In the steel, I got to say, the steel is stellar. So I'm sure that these are going to become available soon. I will put a link to the Blade HQ, even though it's sold out. I'll put a link to it down below so you guys can kind of track it and follow and see when they become available again. And if they do, I'll make sure that I put up a post because this is a knife I really, really love. So with that being said, guys, you know that there was an ad in here, so you know I have sponsors. Down below are links to my sponsors. A couple of those sponsors have got coupon codes built in to their link. Saves you 10% just by clicking on it. Coffee Berry Coffee and Temper Trail are those two. I have got coupon codes now at KATSU Knives, Rosecraft Blades, Ferrum Forge Knife Works. Save 10% with the coupon code Crazy Sharp, all lowercase, all one word, and it also saves you 40% at Beyond EDC Knives. I have got affiliate links to most of the major vendors down below. You can take those, pin them, use those to buy any knives you're going to use, and my Amazon store. Just use those links. It doesn't cost you anything extra, especially the Amazon one. You know you're going to buy stuff on Amazon. Pin that to your browser. I have built a public Discord. There's a link to that where it says join the community down in the description, and I have a membership that has got a private Discord. I do giveaways. There's exclusive content. The premium guys have access to a sharpening tutorial series. Lots of fun. So guys, that's it on this one. I love y'all. Keep it clean in the comment section. If it's your birthday, happy birthday. And I'll see you in the next video.